Let me just say up front, this is the last thing I ever expected to write. But here I am, in my car, parked outside a Target, hands shaking as I type this. I just needed to talk to someone. Or scream into the void. Or maybe both. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so, I've been married to Amanda for almost 9 years. We've had a good run, at least I thought we did. 2 kids, a decent house in the suburbs, a golden retriever named Benny, the whole 9 yards. I'm 36, she's 34. We met in college, dated for 5 years, and then tied the knot. Amanda's always been a lot. High energy, opinionated, kind of a control freak if I'm being honest. She's never been great at apologizing, and God help you if you try to call her out on something. But I loved her for her fire. Or maybe I was just used to walking on eggshells. The first real sign something was off happened about 3 months ago. Amanda hired a housekeeper named Lily, cute little thing, maybe 25, short pixie cut, tattoos, the kind of person who looks like she should be managing an indie bookstore instead of folding my socks. I didn't think much of it at first. Lily was polite, quiet, efficient. She'd show up Mondays and Thursdays while I was working from home, do her thing, and head out. Then Amanda started rearranging her schedule to be home when Lily was around. That's when I started to feel it. That twitchy, gut-level anxiety you can't quite explain. Amanda would gush about Lily like she was some kind of domestic goddess. Did you see how she folded the towels? I swear she's a magician. Lily said I should try that new brunch spot downtown. Lily this, Lily that. Meanwhile, I was getting side-eyed for leaving a coffee ring on the counter. And yeah, okay, I'll admit, I was a little jealous. But not in a sexual way, not at first. It was more like, Amanda had a new best friend. One she lit up around. One she couldn't stop texting. I brushed it off. I told myself I was being paranoid. Amanda had always had intense friendships. This was probably just another phase. Until the day I found a receipt. So yeah, the damn receipt. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. I was grabbing a hoodie off the back of the kitchen chair, and Amanda's purse was wide open on the table. This bright pink slip was sticking out like it wanted to be noticed. $297.50 from a boutique I didn't recognize. A lingerie boutique. Now, Amanda's not exactly the lingerie type. I mean, she used to be, back when we were dating. But after the kids came, pajama pants and oversized tees all the way. Not that I minded. We'd settled into comfort. That was our thing. So naturally, I assumed she was buying it for me. For us. Maybe she was trying to spice things up again. The thought gave me this little jolt of hope. Later that night, I brought it up as casually as I could. Hey babe, you, go shopping today? She barely looked up from her phone. Just ran some errands. Why? Just saw that receipt from Belle Femme, I said, trying not to sound like a suspicious prick. You planning something for date night? And I kid you not. She froze for half a second. Just a blink. But I saw it. Then she laughed. Oh, that? It's for a friend's bachelorette party. I chipped in with the girls for a gift. One of those gag things. You know, edible underwear and feather boas. I nodded, trying to smile. But something felt off. Why did her face go red? Why was her phone suddenly flipped screen down? And why the hell did I feel like I'd just been fed a shit sandwich wrapped in glitter? That night, while she was asleep, I checked her texts. And that's when everything started to unravel. I'd never gone through Amanda's phone before. Not once in nearly a decade. But that night, lying next to her in bed while she snored softly and drooled on the pillow like nothing was wrong, I did it. Her phone didn't even have a passcode. Maybe that's what made me feel worse. Like I was the one doing something dirty. Anyway, I opened her messages, fingers shaking so bad I almost dropped the thing. I scrolled past our chat, dry AF lately, the PDA group, her sister, a bunch of unknown numbers. Then one contact caught my eye. L. Just the letter. Nothing else. No full name. Just L. And the message preview? I opened it. And my stomach dropped. I read messages going back weeks. Some flirty, some sexual, some just weirdly intimate in a way that didn't belong to us anymore. Lily. Fucking Lily. They joked about what Amanda was wearing while I was in the next room. They made plans to wash the sheets together. Amanda sent a picture of herself in what I assume was that lingerie from the boutique. Lily responded with, and I quote, I'm going to ruin that on Thursday. I felt like I'd been punched in the lungs. I couldn't breathe. My wife, the mother of my kids, flirting like a horny teenager with the housekeeper. And me? Just a background character in my own goddamn life. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't confront her. I just lay there, phone still in my hand, wondering how the hell I ended up here. What kind of woman lies about lingerie and then sexts the person she pays by the hour? Apparently, my wife. All right. So I spent the next day walking around like a ghost, half dead, half numb, all rage simmering under the surface. You know when your brain is trying to protect you from a total breakdown, so it just detaches? That was me. I made the kids' lunches. I answered emails. I even sat through a Zoom meeting about Q3 metrics like I wasn't dying inside. Meanwhile, my head was replaying those texts on loop. I'm going to ruin that on Thursday. Thursday. That was today? I checked the calendar. Sure enough, Amanda had blocked off her afternoon. Errands. Real fucking subtle. Now, I'm not a naturally sneaky guy. I'm not the type to set traps or plan revenge. But something in me snapped that morning. Like this quiet, surgical part of my brain came online. No more denial. No more excuses. I was going to catch them in the act. Here's what I did. I faked a work emergency. Told Amanda my boss needed me on site for an IT fire. She barely looked up from her smoothie. Drive safe, she said, smiling. That smile felt like a bullet. Instead of heading to work, I parked 2 blocks away and walked back home through the alley. I slipped in through the side gate, came in the back door like a damn spy. My heart was hammering. I felt like puking, passing out, and punching someone all at once. I crept upstairs to the guest bedroom, quiet as death, and waited. At 1:07 p.m., I heard the front door open. Voices. Laughter. Amanda and Lily. I recorded everything on my phone. I couldn't see them, but I heard everything. The giggles. The footsteps going upstairs. The thud of shoes dropping to the floor. The squeak of our bed. Then the moaning started. It was Amanda. I know those sounds. Or I thought I did. She was louder than she ever was with me. It wasn't just sex. It was passion. Raw, filthy, unrestrained. I felt like I was being gutted from the inside out. My wife was upstairs, getting off with the fucking housekeeper like I didn't exist. And that's when I made the biggest mistake of my life. I opened the bedroom door. When I pushed open that bedroom door, I swear time slowed down like I was in a goddamn movie. There they were, tangled up in the sheets, limbs everywhere, skin flushed and glistening. Amanda on top, hair wild and sweat slicked, riding Lily like she was trying to break a record. Lily's hands were gripping Amanda's hips, nails digging in like claws. The moment they saw me, Amanda screamed. Not from fear. From rage. Like I was the one intruding. Like I was the problem. She scrambled off Lily, yanking the comforter up around herself like modesty suddenly mattered. What the fuck are you doing? She shrieked, like she didn't just break every vow we made in this marriage. Lily, bless her twisted little heart, just lay there, naked as sin, not even trying to cover up. She looked at me, didn't flinch, and muttered, "Well, this is awkward." I didn't speak at first. I just held up my phone. I'd gotten the audio. Not all of it, but enough. Amanda's face went pale, then beet red, then pale again. I heard everything, I said. My voice sounded weird, foreign, like it belonged to someone else. Amanda blinked. Her mouth opened and closed like a dying fish. This isn't, she started, but even she didn't know where to take that lie. Don't. I cut her off. Just fucking don't. Then Lily had the audacity to speak. Look, man, I didn't mean for this to happen. Oh, you didn't mean to crawl into my marital bed and screw my wife during work hours? On my sheets? She shrugged. Amanda said you were basically roommates at this point. I almost lunged at her. Not to hit her, I'm not that guy. But I wanted her gone. Out of my house. Out of my life. Out of the world, if I could make it happen. Amanda grabbed my arm. Please, calm down. Let's talk. We can fix this. I stared at her. My wife. The woman I'd built a whole life with. Lying to my face, gaslighting me, cheating on me, and now she wanted to fix it. Get out. Her eyes filled with tears. Not the good kind. Not remorse. Panic. Fear. The fear of consequences. You can't just throw me out. This is our house. I cut her off again. It's my name on the mortgage. You've been living rent-free in more ways than one. She looked at Lily, then back at me. So what? You're just going to ruin everything over a mistake. Mistake. I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out sounding like a cough and a sob at the same time. You've been fucking the help behind my back for months. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. Lily finally got the hint and started pulling her clothes on. She didn't say a word as she left. Just gave me a look, somewhere between guilt and boredom. Amanda tried to follow me downstairs, still clutching the blanket around her. Please, let's talk. You don't understand. I turned to face her. No, you don't understand. You just blew up our life. And for what? A quick fuck with someone you barely know? I know her better than you think, she said, and the way she said it, like it meant something, like it justified anything, made my vision go black for a second. I left the house without saying another word. Drove around until I ended up at a gas station 20 miles out, just sitting there, shaking. I didn't cry. Not then. That would come later. I didn't go home that night. I parked my car at a shitty 24-hour diner on the edge of town and just sat there, watching truckers shuffle in for bad coffee and pie, watching the sun rise through the greasy windows like it had the audacity to keep shining while my world was burning. My phone buzzed nonstop. Texts, missed calls, voicemails. All from Amanda. The first ones were all, please, let's talk. And it's not what it looked like. Which, seriously? Not what it looked like. I walked in on her mid-thrust. Was she going to say they were doing yoga? Then came the angrier ones. I can't believe you'd just walk out like that. You're being childish. We need to figure this out like adults. No apologies. Just guilt-tripping. Classic Amanda. Always flipping it. Always rewriting the story where she's the misunderstood hero and I'm the overreacting villain. Eventually, I blocked her. I needed quiet. I needed space. I texted my buddy Ryan, the kind of friend who doesn't ask questions when you say, I need a place to crash. He let me sleep on his couch. Didn't even blink when I showed up looking like roadkill in yesterday's clothes. For the first 2 days, I didn't talk much. Just floated through the hours like a ghost in someone else's life. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I kept replaying that moment. Her face when she saw me. Not shame. Not heartbreak. Annoyance. Like I'd inconvenienced her mid-orgasm. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the way she did it. The boldness. The lies. The smugness. And the fact that she brought her into our home. Into our bed. And here's the part that really messed me up. Amanda had lied to me about everything else, sure. But the worst was realizing she'd stopped lying to herself a long time ago. Because on day 3, I got a text from an unknown number. I didn't mean for you to find out like that. But I'm not sorry. No apology. Just that. And it hit me like a freight train. Amanda wasn't confused. This wasn't a one-time fling. It wasn't just about sex. She was in a relationship with Lily. And I'd been the third wheel the whole time. By day 4, Amanda must have realized I blocked her because I started getting emails. Real long ones. Paragraphs of mental gymnastics. She started with the usual. I know you're hurting, but it's not as simple as it looks. Then it turned into, I didn't mean for it to happen. Lily was just there for me when you weren't. Then she took it up a notch. You've been emotionally distant for months. You buried yourself in work. I felt invisible. There it was. The blame shift. I could practically hear her trying to rewrite the past. Like her cheating wasn't a betrayal but a response to my supposed neglect. Which is funny, because I'd been busting my ass working overtime to keep the house running while she spent her afternoons texting Elle and getting massages on the couch I bought. She wanted me to feel like this was somehow my fault. And if I'm being real with you, for like half a second, it almost worked. That's the power of a narcissist with a halfway decent vocabulary. They make you question your own memories. But then, something new dropped. Ryan came into the room holding his phone. Dude, he said, you might want to see this. It was a Facebook post. From Lily. Private, but someone in our circle screenshotted it. It was a photo of Amanda and Lily at a winery, of all places, clinking glasses, sun setting behind them. Matching smug smiles. Caption, sometimes the best things come from breaking the rules. Kiss mark wine glass. My jaw literally dropped. I checked the timestamp. 3 weeks ago. They weren't sneaking around in motel rooms. They were dating. In public. Taking selfies. And no one thought to say anything? Did all our friends know? It got worse. There were comments. You two are adorable. I knew it. Finally. OMG. Does he know yet? Does he know yet? So I wasn't just the last to know. I was the joke. The clueless husband. The punchline to their little sapphic sitcom. Rage. I mean, real, biblical rage washed over me. This wasn't just cheating. It was a con. A secret second life. A game. And I was the fool funding it. That night, I made a decision. No more running. No more hiding. Amanda wanted to talk? She was going to get her chance, but she wasn't going to like how I chose to respond. The next day, I finally agreed to meet Amanda. I chose a quiet, neutral place, a coffee shop we hadn't been to in years, back when we still liked each other. Back before life turned into a minefield of half-truths and emotional IEDs. She walked in looking composed. Too composed. Hair done just right. Makeup perfect. Wearing that leather jacket I got her for our 5th anniversary. The one she used to say made her feel like a badass. Now it just made her look like someone playing the role of Amanda, not being her. She sat across from me with a practiced calm, like she'd been rehearsing for this moment in the mirror. There was this weird, performative guilt on her face, like she was aware she had to look remorseful but hadn't really figured out how to feel it. She started with the usual, apologies, soft tones, claims of confusion and emotional emptiness. Said she didn't mean for any of this to happen. That's always the line, right? Like cheating is some freak accident that just befalls people, not a string of conscious choices. She pivoted quickly to the emotional blame. How she'd been feeling unseen, how work had taken me away, how Lily had simply made her feel alive again. I'd heard this script before, in stories from other betrayed spouses. Always the same playbook. Never any acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, the answer to unhappiness wasn't betrayal. I didn't say much at first. Just let her talk herself in circles. It became obvious she wasn't there to take responsibility. She was there to negotiate. She wanted to be forgiven. She wanted a way out that didn't come with consequences. Then I told her I'd seen the Facebook post, that I knew she wasn't just sneaking around in private. She was parading her new relationship in front of people we both knew. That some of those people had known about it before I did. The color drained from her face when she realized how deep the betrayal actually ran, not just against me, but against the very idea of our life together. She tried to spin it again, said it wasn't meant to go that far, that she didn't know what she was doing, that she still loved me, that she wanted to work through it. But I was already done. There was no going back for me after that. It wasn't just the sex, or the lies, or the secrecy. It was the audacity. The way she'd kept me in the dark while curating a new life in plain sight. The way she'd made me a clown in my own marriage. I stood up, told her I was filing, and left her there. I didn't look back. After I left the coffee shop, there wasn't this huge moment of relief or clarity like I thought there'd be. No weight off the shoulders cinematic ending. Just this cold, hollow ache in my chest, and the buzz of adrenaline slowly fading from my system. It hit me that the woman I built a life with, mortgages, routines, in-jokes, kids, was now a stranger I didn't trust to feed my dog. That same evening, I called a lawyer. Found someone with good reviews and no bullshit in her voice. When I told her what happened, she didn't gasp or pity me, just laid out the steps. Divorce wasn't unfamiliar to her. Infidelity? Even less so. She told me I had a strong case, especially since I had audio evidence and documented messages. Property wasn't going to be complicated. My name was on the mortgage, I paid the bulk of the bills, and thankfully, we didn't have any kids to fight over. But still, I had to brace for war. Because I knew Amanda. She wasn't the kind to lose quietly. If she couldn't have her cake and eat it too, she'd try to blow up the bakery. Right on cue, she started spinning. First, it was the group chats. Friends started reaching out with weirdly neutral, "We're here for you both," texts. You know the kind. The ones that smell like fence sitting. That's when I found out Amanda had already started damage control. She was telling people we'd been drifting for months. That I was emotionally unavailable. That she hadn't planned any of it. That she fell in love unexpectedly. Lily, apparently, wasn't just some impulsive mistake anymore. She was Amanda's new truth. What bothered me most was that some people bought it. People we used to have barbecues with. Parents from our old playgroup. Her sister, of course, no surprise there. But one or two of my friends. They parroted her talking points right back to me. Like somehow I should have seen this coming. Like I let it happen. But a few people saw through the smoke. Ryan, obviously. My brother. One of Amanda's old college friends. Surprisingly, she called me out of the blue and said she always did love drama more than decency. That meant more than I expected. And then there was the kicker. Lily had moved in. Not into our house. Thank God. But Amanda's friend's place downtown. From what I heard, they were already playing house. Social media was full of it. Wine nights, bookstore selfies, pictures of brunch with captions like, "Healing, one mimosa at a time." Meanwhile, I was sleeping on a friend's couch, wondering what the hell the last 9 years of my life had even meant. It was surreal, like I'd been kicked out of my own story and replaced by some extra in a movie I never signed up for. And for the first time since everything exploded, I realized I didn't just lose my wife. I lost the version of me that believed in her. A week after I filed for divorce, I stood in what used to be our walk-in closet, now just my closet, and stared at a half-empty rack of hangers. Amanda had finally come by to get her things, which apparently meant taking 3 suitcases of clothes, a whole drawer of my sweatshirts she'd commandeered over the years, and oddly, the good knife set. Because sure, nothing says new chapter like 6 Japanese steel chef's knives. I didn't fight her on it. I didn't even see her when she came. We arranged it through our lawyers. She brought Lily with her, I was told. That stung more than I wanted to admit. It was weird how fast she dismantled her presence from the house. The framed photo of our beach trip to San Diego? Gone. Her favorite throw blanket on the couch? Vanished. Like she was never there at all. Like I'd dreamed up the last decade and was only now waking up in someone else's house. I kept thinking, how could she move on so fast? But that's the thing I was starting to realize. She didn't move on after the affair. She moved on during it. All those months I was trying to figure out how to reconnect. She was already building a life with someone else behind my back. She just left me the scraps and the silence. But here's the thing I hadn't expected. There was peace in that silence. No more passive-aggressive sighs when I got home late. No more empty small talk over dinner. No more emotional whiplash from trying to decode what mood she was in that day. Just quiet. Lonely, yeah, but honest. And the clarity that started to come from that was uncomfortable, but necessary. I started seeing the patterns. All the little red flags I brushed off over the years. The times she manipulated arguments until I apologized for things I didn't do. The emotional coldness she'd weaponize when I didn't meet her unspoken expectations. The subtle digs she'd drop around friends that made me feel like an idiot in my own marriage. Lily wasn't the cause of our destruction. She was the result of a marriage already starved of honesty. That didn't make the betrayal easier, but it made it clearer. And clarity? That's something. So I started making changes. First thing, I canceled the housekeeper service altogether. I told the company I'd handle it myself from now on. I didn't even bother explaining why. Just told them to delete my number and be done with it. Second, therapy. I booked an appointment and committed to showing up, even if I had to drag myself through the door, because I was tired of carrying the weight of her lies and my silence. And third, I unblocked Amanda, not to reconcile, not to talk, just to let her see one thing when I posted it. A picture of me, coffee in hand, standing in front of the courthouse. Caption, freedom looks different for everyone. Mine came with paperwork. I didn't check to see if she liked it. Didn't care. After that courthouse photo went up, things started to shift. Not in some dramatic movie-style way, but in those quiet, passive-aggressive waves people send out when they don't like losing control of the narrative. A few mutuals dropped off social media entirely. Others messaged me privately, acting shocked like they just found out what Amanda had done, even though I could see they'd commented, "Love wins red heart," under one of her wine-sodden selfies with Lily the week prior. The mental gymnastics people will do to avoid choosing sides is genuinely Olympic level. Then came the bombshell from Amanda's sister. She texted me out of nowhere. Just a simple, "Can we talk?" At first, I ignored it. Then curiosity got the better of me. We agreed to meet at a diner off the highway, neutral turf. She showed up nervous, fumbling with her coat, like she didn't know how to start. She ordered tea and then, before even touching it, just blurted it all out. Apparently, Amanda had been lying about a lot more than just Lily. Turns out this affair? Not her first. There was someone else, 2 years ago. A co-worker. Brief, she said. A one-time thing. Amanda had confessed it to her sister in tears, swearing she'd never do anything like it again. Said she was going through a phase. I just sat there. Numb. Not surprised, honestly. More like validated. Like a puzzle piece finally snapped into place, and I could finally see the full picture of just how long Amanda had been checked out of our marriage. Her sister kept talking. Said she didn't support what Amanda did, but she understood how someone could feel trapped. Trapped. As if Amanda was the one who'd been lied to, manipulated, sidelined. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just nodded, paid for the tea, and left her there in the booth with her guilt. Back home, I sat in the living room, lights off, and let the weight of it all settle. My wife hadn't just betrayed me once. She'd been rehearsing for this moment. It wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. And somehow, knowing that helped. It hurt, sure, but it also closed the last door I'd been leaving cracked open. The one marked, maybe someday. The one that makes you second-guess your own instincts. That tiny, pathetic voice that whispers, maybe she didn't mean it. She did. And now, I could finally let go of everything. After learning the affair with Lily wasn't Amanda's first, something inside me shifted. The grief didn't vanish, but the confusion did. All those late-night spirals where I'd ask myself what I missed, what I could have done differently, why I wasn't enough, they all just went quiet. There's a strange relief in knowing you were never going to win. That it was never about you losing. It was about her never intending to keep what you were trying so hard to build. I stopped trying to make sense of it and started trying to move through it. Part of that process meant cleaning out the rest of the house. Amanda had taken most of what she wanted, but there were still traces of her everywhere. Lip balm tucked in drawers, hair ties under the bed, a photo strip from some booth we hit on a road trip back in 2016. Our smile still intact, our future still unwritten. I burned it, not dramatically, just out back in the fire pit. Quiet, alone. Watching our past curl into ash felt more symbolic than I expected. I also started sleeping in the middle of the bed. That was new. At first, I kept to my side out of habit, the left edge cold and unbothered. But eventually, I stretched out, claimed the space. It's a dumb thing, but it felt weirdly powerful. And then came the dreams. For a solid week, I kept having these vivid, weird dreams where Amanda would show up. Not yelling or crying, but cleaning. She'd be folding laundry, wiping counters, rearranging the pantry. Lily was never there. Just Amanda. Quiet. Focused. Never speaking. One night, I asked her, "Why are you still here?" And in the dream, she looked at me and said, "I don't know." That's when I realized something important. She still lived in me. In the muscle memory, in the guilt, in the noise I carried around like armor. And I had to evict her. So I started writing everything down. What she said, what she did, what I felt. All of it. Not to post. Not for closure. Just to put it somewhere else that wasn't my chest. I'm not healed. I won't pretend I am. But I'm not where I was. The shock has dulled. The anger has softened. The sadness comes in smaller waves now. What remains is clarity. And the realization that sometimes, the greatest peace comes not from getting answers, but from accepting you'll never get them, and still choosing to move forward anyway. I was doing better, genuinely. Sleeping through the night. Eating actual meals. Even caught myself singing along to the radio once, which felt like some weird kind of progress. Then, of course, Amanda reached out. It started with a handwritten letter. Yeah, a real letter, mailed to the house, addressed in that perfect cursive she always used on birthday cards. For a second, I considered tossing it into the trash without reading it. But curiosity's a funny bastard. It always wins. The letter was long. Pages, even. The tone bounced around like a drunk acrobat. Part apology, part rationalization, part nostalgia dump. She wrote about our first apartment, how she missed the way we used to fall asleep watching dumb sci-fi movies. How she still had the t-shirt I gave her when we were dating. How she still loved me. And of course, the pivot. She wrote that things with Lily were complicated. That maybe what she thought was love was something else. That she was in a weird headspace when it all happened. That she'd been questioning a lot about herself, her identity, her past, her desires. Said she never meant to hurt me. That I deserved better. Funny how people always say that after they destroy you. She didn't ask for reconciliation directly, but she did say she hoped one day we could talk, not as exes, but as two people who went through something hard and came out stronger. I stared at that line for a long time. Stronger? I didn't feel stronger. I felt scarred, torn, rewired, changed. But maybe she was right in a roundabout way. I wasn't the same guy who tolerated her emotional bullshit, who walked on eggshells, who apologized for things he didn't even understand. That guy was gone. This version of me? He had boundaries. I didn't respond, didn't text, didn't call, but I did write something. Just one sentence. I folded it neatly, stuffed it into an envelope, and sent it back to her. All it said was, "Healing doesn't require your permission." I figured she'd get the message. After I sent that one-line reply, I felt lighter. Not happy, not over it, but like I'd finally pushed the last stone off my chest. The one that kept me wondering if I owed Amanda some kind of grace just because we had history. I didn't. History doesn't give someone the right to rewrite your present. She never replied to my note, which I expected. Maybe she read it and cried. Maybe she laughed. Maybe she burned it. Doesn't matter. That moment wasn't for her. It was for me. Around that same time, our divorce papers were finalized. My lawyer sent over the last round of documents with a short, efficient email. It's done. You're officially divorced. That was it. No fireworks. No dramatic crescendo. Just done. The silence that followed was eerie. After months of tension, lies, arguments, and legal back and forth, it all ended with a line in an email. A marriage unmade by a signature. I didn't tell anyone right away. Not my friends. Not even Ryan. I took the day off work, turned off my phone, and drove out to this lake an hour away. One of those spots we used to visit before the kids, before the house, before the version of Amanda I married started to rot from the inside out. I sat on the dock for hours. Just me, a thermos of coffee, and a notebook. I wrote down everything I wanted to leave behind. Not just Amanda, but all the pieces of myself I'd lost while trying to love someone who couldn't be honest with me. And then I wrote what I wanted to take with me. Peace, clarity, self-respect, maybe, eventually, even hope. Before I left, I tore out the pages, folded them, and tucked them into a small tin box I found in the back of my car. I buried it by the waterline. A weird little ritual, maybe, but it felt right. Like a funeral for the version of me who stayed too long, fought too hard, and loved someone who didn't know what love meant. It wasn't closure, but it was the start of something better. It's been a few months now. Amanda is a name that doesn't catch in my throat anymore. Lily, just a blip on a painful timeline I've stopped measuring. The house is quieter, yes, but it's also mine now, in every sense. No more emotional landmines. No more shadows whispering through the hallways. Just a guy, his dog, and a slowly reclaimed sense of peace. I've started running again. Not to escape, but because it feels good to move forward, literally. I've picked up photography, too. Turns out, I've got a decent eye. Who knew? People ask if I'm dating again. I'm not. Not yet. I'm learning to date myself first. To figure out who I am when I'm not performing emotional triage in a one-sided marriage. There's a lot to rediscover. Some parts of me are still buried under the wreckage Amanda left behind, but I'm getting there. I've reconnected with old friends. Made new ones. Spent weekends doing whatever the hell I want. Some days that's hiking. Other days it's sitting on the porch with a beer and letting the breeze remind me I'm still here. Still breathing. Still healing. I won't pretend this journey was noble or graceful. It was messy, brutal, humiliating. I doubted myself. Hated myself, even. There were nights I laid in bed asking how the hell I missed the signs. How I let it get this far. But here's what I've learned. Cheating doesn't always come with neon signs or lipstick on collars. Sometimes it hides behind soft lies, slow distance, and someone saying, I'm fine, when they haven't been fine in years. If you're in that space right now, where everything you believed about your partner, your life, yourself is collapsing, hear this. It's not your fault. You are not unlovable. You are not weak for hurting. And you will survive this. More than that, you'll grow from this. Heartbreak has a way of clearing the fog, of burning away the bullshit. And if you let it, it can show you exactly who you are when no one's watching. And sometimes, that version of you, the one forged in betrayal and silence and grief, he's stronger than you ever imagined.